Hey guys! So this is going to be a video that no one really asked for or probably even expected, so we're going to be talking about the Devstream, the Plains of Eidolon Devstream. Now before I get into this, I just want to say that I am operating off of notes, I am not operating off of a script, so you can expect me to fumble over words and, you know, be overall confusing as all hell because I am not very articulate, so to speak. And, yeah, so I'm not running off of a script, so expect me to repeat a lot of shit and things like that, and I am sorry about that. And there are other Warframe, content creators that can do this a lot better, like Brozyme, so I would highly recommend checking them out if you want something that is, like, better built. But this is just me gonna be rambling, so let's talk. So the stream had a number of different things. They talked about small things like new weapon stances. They've talked about a Octavia Deluxe skin. They talked about new cosmetics like Tenogen, like the Halloween Tenogen, Deluxe Mag, things like that. But let's go ahead and talk about the bigger stuff. So the first thing that I want to talk about is Twitch. And they've decided to try to implement a system involving Twitch streaming. And basically the way it works is that if you are an official Twitch streamer, or not an official Twitch streamer, an official Warframe partner who streams to Twitch, you will be eligible to participate in this new system where if viewers are watching your stream and you do certain things in the Plains of Eidolon, the viewers will get rewarded in some way. So if you are streaming for, say, an hour, the viewers will get something. If you unlock an achievement, the viewers will get something, things like that. And this is pretty neat, actually, because Warframe, in my opinion, is not a very good game to stream, because it is a game very much based off of your own development as a player. It's not really competitive, and it's not really story-driven, so the main reason that people play it is to develop themselves as a player. So I often don't really watch streams of Warframe unless it's a personality that I like. So you really have to carry that stream yourself and not rely on the game, because people like DK Diabetes, I don't know, yeah, people like them, they have to carry the stream on their back with their personality alone, because Warframe's just not a very good game to stream. Let's move on to something more controversial and something that I'm not too big of a fan of, and that is the focus rework. So basically, there are two controversial aspects about the focus rework. The first one is that it is getting a sledgehammer and being rebuilt from the ground up, and they are taking focus, no pun intended, but they are taking focus of the system away from Warframes and putting them onto the operators themselves. Now, in the past, the focus systems, they would have abilities that would affect the Warframes, like the passives and things like that. But now they are redesigning focus to mainly affect the operators with very, very, very little effect on the Warframes. And this is, of course, very controversial because people play this game to play as cyborg space ninjas. Sorry. And, yeah, not all of us came into this game to play as a teenager, or, to play Sharkwing and Archwing and things like that. So, this is obviously kind of controversial, and I'm not too big of a fan of it myself. I think they should have kept focus abilities on the frames, because the game is called Warframe. But the other problem that I have is that they've basically done away with the passives of the schools. So what this means is that Generic Energy passive is gone, and Nerimon Shadow Step passive is gone. Now, in regards to those two passives, personally, I thought Nerimon was kind of overpowered. It just seemed kind of weird to give a frame like Rhino the ability to go invisible, and not only benefit off of his Rhino Roar, but also stealth multipliers. I've always thought that was kind of ridiculous. I think it's fine with an Avara who makes you invisible, or an Octavia, or an Ashe with his smokescreen augment, but being able to go invisible on any frame just because you landed a critical hit, that seemed kinda silly to me. I know a lot of people might disagree with me there, but it is what it is. So that's getting removed, but one thing that I do not agree with at all is Zeneric's energy passive being removed. And apparently I was not the only one, because people in the Ask Me Anything Reddit thread were also talking about this. And the good news is that DE seems to have noticed, and they seem to be like, oh, maybe we need to re-implement Xeneric's energy passive in some way. And that's nice and all, but the problem is that DE are the masters of, what's the word? Compromise. They are the masters of compromisation. If you suggest something to them, they are not likely to implement it exactly the way you want. They're like, it's like a monkey. It's like a monkey's paw in a lot of ways. You have to be very, very careful with what you ask for or something. We have asked for shit like universal vacuum in the past, and we have got it half-assed. Things like reworks, we have put in information and feedback about reworks, and sometimes they'll take it and they'll make adjustments. But most of the time, they will either just ignore it, or they'll put it in some way, but it will be heavily compromised for whatever reason. And this is exactly what is keeping shield gating out, because for some reason, fucking Discord, because for some reason, they have an issue with shield gating, and they want to compromise on it in some way. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know, but the problem here is that they are trying to put energy flow back in, but they are going about it the wrong way. There was one answer on the Ask Me Anything thread that said, oh, maybe we can do this thing where if you're an operator and you do a void dash, it will leave behind a field that regenerates energy for a limited amount of time. Now, the reason that this is not an acceptable fix is for a number of different reasons. First off, it is not an inherent passive. We do not want an ability like this. We don't want to have to deal with it. We have frames that can regenerate enemies energy on their own with their own ability set, like Trinity and Harrow. Frames like that, they can regenerate energy very easily. But the reason that we use that passive is because it's hands-off. You pop it, and there you go. You don't have to worry about energy as much. And this suggestion right here is just faulty, because not only is it limited, but it's also limited to operators only. You have to use your operator and then hop back into your frame to get the effects. And that just, it seems cumbersome. It just, I don't know, it just seems funky. And also the problem is that there's also the problem with the fact that in order to use this passive, you have to stand in the fucking area that it was used in. This isn't like the Xeneric passive that we have right now, where you're always getting energy regeneration, and you know that's a problem. So, focus rework, not too excited about it. I wish they would have kept focus on the Warframes, because that's what we played the game for, but that's just my personal opinion. So let's go ahead and talk about something more positive, and that, oddly enough, is Archwing. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I believe Archwing was implemented very, very well for Plains of Eidolon. And the reason I'd say that is because, do you remember earlier how I was saying that we play this game mainly for the Warframes? Well, that very reason is the reason why a lot of people do not like Archwing, and it's also the reason that a lot of them do not like the operators. We got into this game because we saw cool frames jumping around and shooting space clones and things like that. And Archwing is not something that everyone is going to enjoy. We went into the game expecting a third-person shooter, not a space shooter, so yeah. But the reason that I like Archwing on Plains of Eidolon, sorry about the mic bump, the reason that I like Archwing on Plains of Eidolon here is because A, it's very useful, it is a useful travel ability, B, it's completely optional, so you do not have to use this if you don't want to, and C, you can use it in combat if you want to. And nothing about it is forced on you. You can travel through the plains on foot if you want to. You can fight on the plains on foot using your abilities if you want to. But you also have the option to use your Archwing. You can use their abilities. You can't use Archwing weaponry, because that would be overpowered as all hell. But yeah, you can use Arcwing abilities, you can fly around with him, and that is a very, very good thing. This is exactly why people liked Titania's for, because she could choose to go into it if she wanted to. It wasn't locked onto her like like an event was. Like Razorback and the Fomorians, you are forced to play Arcwing in those events. And that's a big reason why people don't like Arcwing. And that's also the reason that people do not like the Operators, because they're forced gimmicky mechanics. So I really like the implementation of Arcwing here. It's optional, you do not have to use it, even though I probably am going to use it now, because Arcwing has a very good use here. You have to cover a lot of the planes in a reasonable amount of time, after all. So, yeah, I'm probably going to build an Arcwing for once. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah. So next up, let's talk about Eidolon combat. So we got a sneak peek at how an Eidolon moves and how it attacks, and it looks absolutely amazing in terms of its visuals and everything. It had what looked like a fucking human extinction attack from Dragon Ball, and it had this wide sweeping, rapid fire like disc shape thing. I don't know, but Eidolon looks very, very cool in combat. Now, Rebecca couldn't do any damage to it, and apparently the reason for this is because the operators are needed to be able to do that in the first place. And I was looking through the AMA thread, and I discovered that Eidolons are basically a giant Kufa Guardian. You have to use your operator to get rid of their defenses, and then you can use your Warframe to shoot them down. Now, this is kind of a cop-out, I'm not gonna lie. It seems kind of cheesy to recycle the same mechanic that you used with Kufa Guardians, but I will say this, I will take this any day over having to use operators exclusively to take them down. If I had to use my operator to kill an Eidolon start to finish, I would not be very happy, because again, I play this game to play as my Warframes, not to play as my operators. So it's good that they are keeping operators in the background, but it also contradicts with the fact that they are focusing the focus system on the operators. So they've taken away Warframe focused passives and put them onto the operators, and that's kind of a catch-22, because I don't want to play as an operator, but at the same time I want them to be useful. So I don't know, maybe I'm the one at fault here. If they could somehow strike a chord between having the operators useful but not necessary, I think that would be the absolute best thing that they could do. Like I said about Arcwing earlier, Arcwing implementation in the planes is very, very solid. You're not forced to use it, but it's very, very good. You can use the abilities of the Arcwing if you want. You can, I assume that you can like fight seamlessly between them. Like you can go from Arcwing to ground and then back to Arcwing again. So, moving on. This is a very, very nice one. So, someone brought up the point of snipers. Are there any plans to rework them? And you guys probably know how much I love snipers. And, yeah, this guy nails it on the head. Many players are dissatisfied with scope sway, hip fire inaccuracy, and a combo decaying mechanic. Everything that I hate about sniper rifles packaged nicely into one fucking sentence. And their response was, because of the size of the planes, we are going to take a look at them, so we do hope to tweak them a bit before launch. Now, this comment seems deliberately vague. That to me makes it sound like they're going to fix some things but not other things. Because again, DE is the master of compromises. They want a mechanic to be in their game for one reason or another, and they will not go down without a fight without trying to make some kind of compromise. So what I think is going to happen here is that they're going to fix some things about sniper rifles, but not other things. Like, maybe they'll fix hipfire inaccuracy, but they won't fix combo decay or scope sway. Maybe they'll fix scope sway, but they won't fix hipfire inaccuracy. It's going to be something like that, I can almost assure you. But this is a good thing. Snipers, even in Planes of Eidolon, I can't imagine them being as good or better than other weapons. You can still snipe with the majority of any hit scan weapon, for example. So, next thing to talk about are the operator warrior weapons. And this guy asks, will the operator warriors have melee weapons? D responds that they will not at the start. They have what they're calling amps internally, and they are basically component weapons that you can focus your innate Tenno energy in ways that you can customize. So what this sounds like to me is basically a customizable energy rifle in a lot of ways. Maybe an energy pistol. Maybe you can decide whether you want a single fire weapon. Maybe you can decide if you want a rapid fire, maybe a grenade launcher, things like that. So this is what I'm expecting. It's a little bit unfortunate that they don't have an entire separate arsenal. It seems like they're only going to have a single weapon that you can hold on to, that you can customize. I hope I'm wrong there, but it does seem like that's the case. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a melee, a secondary, and a primary. Obviously, that would take a lot of work, but yeah, still disappointing nonetheless, but don't matter. And this is a question that a guy is asking about Arcwing weapons on the plains. And they're basically saying that no, you cannot use Arcwing weapons on the plains, but you can use the Arcwing abilities. I was talking about this earlier, blah blah blah. Very good thing here. I do like how you're allowed to use your Arcwing abilities. I do think that being able to use the weaponry is kind of overkill, so maybe keep those out. And yeah, that's honestly all I have, guys. My voice is like killing me right now. It feels like I'm eating sandpaper. But to wrap this up, I am a split 50-50 on Plains of Eidolon so far. I like the landscape and I like how the Eidolons look. I'm pretty excited about the loot that you're going to be able to get. I'm hoping that we get some new rare fashion frame stuff. Maybe the maybe the Eidolons will drop a very, very rare fashion palette. Like maybe we'll have flashing palettes from the Eidolons, and you can be like a flashing rainbow fucking forward Saren or something. I don't know. But yeah, half of it I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about Arcwing being not only useful but optional. I'm not too excited about the operators or the focus system, but I'm pretty excited about the Twitch system as well as glass frame. So it's a very it's a mixed bag, unfortunately, but we'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to try to cut DE some slack here because they've been working on this for nearly a fucking year behind the scenes. So I do like to shit on them quite a lot for the decisions, but I am going to give them some benefit of the doubt. I think the main problems right now are with operators and focus, but everything other than that is pretty damn solid. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to give my voice a rest, and, you know, thank you guys for watching.